you need a clue for what I'm going to be up to today, going to get out in the kayak. This is Cataline, and I'm going to take you out in the kayak and hopefully we get some fish. Now, I've not been on the kayak for maybe about 18 months because last year I had my shoulder out. I just didn't get round to the kayaking. Because we're out in the kayak, I've put the side door on the camera and it's just got a fuzzy foam mount which is supposed to stop a bit of the wind noise. But I hope that the audio is going to be okay for you and you can hear what I'm saying. If not, gonna have to do some lip reading. So the first job is going to be get this off the roof. I've got a system for it and I explained the system on one of our earlier videos a couple of years ago. I think it was called How to Get a Kayak on a High Roof Vehicle. So when I had the old camper van, and I actually filmed it here. But if you want to have a look, it's on the channel somewhere. Do take a look at that if you want to know how I made the device that I'm going to use just now to get the kayak off the roof. So this makes life an awful lot easier. I've got most of the strength back in my shoulder, but it's still quite a heavy kayak to lift over the back, but it just keeps it off your paintwork, and that's the important thing. And you can do things solo, and that's even more important. So I just finished setting the kayak up, need to put my seat in, need to set up the sounder, need to get the rods on, need to get my dry suit on, and then we'll head out and see what we can do. Catch you in a bit. So here we go, all set up. I've got to be honest, it took a lot longer than I thought it would because I'm pretty rusty after about 18 months, but everything's set up. I thought before I go out, I'll just run you through some safety gear, because safety first. And before you embark on something like this, particularly when you're on your own, it's worth talking about the safety aspects and making sure you got everything covered. So let's just start with, first of all, this one's a palm angler. You can have any one you want. Inside the pocket here, I've got a knife, so I could cut myself free if I was stuck in ropes. I've also got one of these PLBs, a personal location beacon. So if the worst came to the worst, I could set that off and it would get a satellite signal right the way through to the Coast Guard. So let's just zip that back in nice and safe. The next thing that you need with this is make sure that you've got a VHF, portable VHF, and that it's fully charged. So that's all fully charged up. So with the little handheld VHF radio, it will actually reach Aberdeen Coast Guard because I've done a radio check with them in the past. So that's the PLB. Today I'm wearing a dry suit because although it's a lovely sunny day, that water will be cold and it doesn't give you much time out there. So good to have a dry suit. There's also an app that you can get called RYA Safe Tracks. There's a video on the channel about that, and that actually does some tracking. If I get into difficulty and don't get back to shore by a given time that I've stated in here that I'm going to be back on dry land, it'll message my wife, it'll message the Coast Guard if she doesn't answer. So it's a good safety thing. So have a look at RYA Safe Tracks, free app, well worth downloading. So that's on the phone. And that will actually go in the pocket in the front of the boat here. So we've got that on the kayak all the time. I've got the sounder rigged up here. Just a message to myself is need to put another fuse in my box. Came down here this morning after 18 months, for some reason the fuse was broken, but I did have a spare. so a little 5 amp fuse. So that's up and running and working. This particular thing here is the camera mount, and the camera that you're on at the minute will get mounted on the top here, and it's just an arm, just allows you to get some different camera angles. Again, it's a DIY thing, video on the channel about that, so if you're interested, it's just a bit of pipe and stuff that I've made up. There's a second little camera over here which I'll be putting underwater hopefully, and we'll be getting some pictures from underwater. The other element of safety are these cords. There's a thing in kayaking called lash it or lose it. So the paddle is on a big cord, so if the boat tips over or you let go of it, your paddle doesn't float off. You've got a chance of getting that back. At the back of the kayak I've got the rest of my gear. So I've got a folding paddle here just in case I lose something. I shouldn't do because that's lashed on, but this one's also lashed on. Inside here I've got my anchor, I've got a drogue, and I've got my fishing gear. I've got both rods on here. I'll be tying those on. I use the bungee cord just so that they don't drop off. So today I've got the big rod, and you must be thinking you can land a whale with that. Yes, you can, but what I've got it for is that I brought the Waterwolf camera, and this is a 60-pound braid. So if I drop the camera down, I really want to make sure that's going back up. So it's a heavy rod. It's overkill for the fish, but it does mean that I'll get the camera back. The other rod's just a lightweight rod, nice little lightweight, 12 to 20 pound I think it is, and just got a soft plastic on there. The other thing to mention here is that I've made out of an old box a surround for the Garmin fish finder, and it just keeps a little bit of sun off it and makes it easier to see. So that's my setup. That's the kayak. It's a Triumph Perception 13. Had a few modifications. It's got the sounder on it. I've put a rudder on the back as well, which has made a big difference. I think I'm more or less set up. I'm going to put my PLB on, and we're going to wheel it down to the water, and we'll go off. As I say, this camera can go onto here, onto the other mount, and you hopefully should be able to see what we're up to. Just wanted to apologise for having the shades on. I need them because it's sunny, but it does sort of interrupt that bit of communication because you can't see my eyes when I'm talking to you, but I am looking at you. But I'm going to keep the shades on because it's pretty bright out there today, and I'll end up with a headache on the glare off the water. So sorry about that, just going to have to put up with them, the shades. Wow, here we are, just leaving Cataline Harbour. I love it, I love it. So mistake number one was I just launched and then realised that I hadn't taken the strap off the rudder. So I just had to nip back into the harbour and sort that out. I hope the audio's okay. We've got the foam wrap on the camera. It is what it is. There's a little bit more wind than I was anticipating, but we are going to go out because it's okay. I'm confident that we're all right. There's not a lot of other boats around at all, apart from one, and I spoke to a viewer of the channel and it was great to meet them. So if they want, they can put a comment in to say they've met me. I won't name you on the video in case you don't want me to. But nice to meet you, fella. So just need to paddle out a bit. There's a lot of hot markers. Sounder is giving me about 6 meters here just as we come out. So the good thing today is that the wind is not going to blow me offshore. I'm not going to visit an oil rig in the North Sea. It should blow me back into Cataline here, which is a good thing. It just went over a shallow bit there. Kelp, I think it was. I could see something in the water. I may have to turn the camera off for a bit until this stupid grin has gone off my face. Because I have missed being out on Iskar, which is the name of the kayak. I've missed it a lot. It just didn't happen last year. So let's see what we can do this year. Get some more kayaking in. I do enjoy it because it's so easy to launch and tidy up at the end of the session. Real Time's a lovely boat. I'd never sell it, but there's a bit more work involved in prepping, towing the boat, launching it, make sure everything's maintained properly, etc. You still got to do a lot of checks on the kayak with the safety, hence the beginning of the video, but it is a little bit easier. So I'm going to head out a bit. I think I'll drop a lure over to begin with. I've got some, I think it's about 0.14 braid, which is, it's actually 20 pounds, but it's quite thin, and I'm hoping that I can just keep a lure underneath the kayak and maybe we pick something up. You never know. That's the plan. That's the plan. The bigger rod, as you can see behind me, has got those muppets on, and if we are catching a few fish, I'll have a fiddle about. Oh, dolphins! Keep your eye out ahead. Where are they? There, look. Do you see the fins? Yes! They probably won't come near the kayak, and in fact, it might be a bit scary if they do. Beautiful. I hope you caught that on camera. So I'm going to head into the wind here. We still have some tide running, particularly when if we poke our nose out the far side of Todd Head there, where the lighthouse is. But if we get a wind over tide situation and a nasty chop, we're going in. Don't mess around. We're going in. Currently in, what are we in? Can't see with these glasses on. Currently in about 14 meters. I need to get a little bit further away from a string of pots that I can see. It's a hard bottom here. You can see that on the sounder. There's a few, looks like a few bait fish, mine. So it's time to drop a line. I think split you about there. So just got this light rod on to begin with. We'll just send that one down. I think the drift is going to be greater than expected for keeping this lure under the boat, but we'll drop it down. I'm currently in 17 meters, a lot of plankton in the water, and I don't think that would make very good footage on the underwater camera, but we'll see. So I'll come back to you in a minute. I'm going to make a change. I think the sabikis can go on. I've put, I think it's about 4-ounce lead on, and I'm more or less on the bottom. I am on the bottom. The line is not quite straight down. I think we'd detect the fish. You don't want it streaming out too far, because it tends to lift up in the water, and if they're on the bottom, you're not going to contact them. Hark at me telling you what I'm doing, eh? As if I know. Just do my thing. Sometimes I catch, sometimes, I don't. But we've got a pot marker ahead, keeping my eye on that as well. Yeah, a lot of dolphins. There's part of them just gone down there. They all seem to be heading north. Don't know why. They're definitely dolphins, not porpoise. Porpoise are a lot smaller. So fishing's a bit slow. Been out about half an hour. I'm using these sabikis. There's some seagulls sat on the water over there, but I don't think they're feeding. I think it's just a big group of them. Must be having a meeting. I am drifting north. Line myself up with that. It's not a fast drift though, so that's good. Just be really nice to hit into some fish though. Oh, it's great to be out. It's great to be out. I don't want to bring you a video where I don't catch fish, but I'm gonna produce this as a video, even if I don't catch a fish, because it's just so nice to get back out here. We want to fish. I do want to fish. Come on. Come on, fish. Here, fishy, fishy. Yesterday afternoon, I'm mowing the lawn and it's absolutely still and baking hot, which we don't often get up here. Today's glorious. There isn't a cloud in the sky. There isn't a cloud in the sky, and it's there's a bit too much wind, really, to be fair. What about that for a moment? What about that for a moment? Too much wind, not enough tide. Too bright, too dark. Barometer wasn't in the right place. Right, time to make a move and have another drift. So we'll head back this way and see how we get on. It's quite a swell, quite a shot. Things are okay at the minute. It's we're heading into the wind, so I'm imagining that the audio is going to not be that good. However, it's what it is. That's what I always say. I know GoPros are good at flattening out the sea. You may actually be able to see that there's a good swell at the minute. So you never know. You never know. Keeping my eye on it, because I don't want to be out here if it kicks up too much. Got the lures back down to the bottom. It's going to be so interesting to look back at the footage when I'm editing and see what the sea conditions look like. I'd just like to say thank you very much for everyone that watches the videos and comments. Give some thumbs up, give them thumbs down. I don't mind. Well, I do. I think if you give it a thumbs down, let me know what it was that you didn't like about the video, and then I can make changes. I mean, you might just not like me, that doesn't matter, you know, that's your choice. But if there's something about the video that you don't like, maybe it's the audio, maybe something like that, and you've given it a thumbs down, just let me know in the comments, and then we can make a change, if that's possible. You know, it may be something that I don't want to change. Come on, fish. Well, even if the fish aren't biting, I'm having a mackerel sandwich. Just pull the lures up off the bottom for a minute, doing the trip. Okay, I think we've got a fish on. Finally. Oh, it's come off! We had a fish on. Can't believe that. Well, we'll try and get another one. Finally into a fish. I don't know what it is. Let's see if we can find out. Here you go. It is a little codlin. Yeah! So the codlin is a blank saver. Let's get the hook out of it. Put those safely to one side. Beauty! You're a blank saver. Perfect. So there you go, folks. Let's put it back. Gonna get the other little camera going and we'll put it underwater. Yep, he's on. Should have got some footage of it going underwater. Yes! I didn't blank. Now then, we need to paddle back up that way because I don't want to drift too far down here. Yes! Well, that's absolutely wonderful. First fish off the kayak this year. Wow! Little codlin. Went back strong. Absolutely fine. Brilliant. Anyway, the lure's back down. Let's see if we can get another one. The blank is off. Wow. The drift has really picked up. Going quite quick now. Our line is shooting straight out. So the drifts are getting quicker. And there's quite a bit of plankton in the water. So if I just put this camera underwater, I wonder if it will show it. Move that out of the way. So I've got the camera just under the surface. I'll see if I can see the plankton for you. There we go. Let's put this camera back secure. Now, I'm going to call this my last drift. You probably won't be able to see it on the GoPro because they have a great habit of flattening out the sea. You probably think it's a wonderful day out here, lovely, flat and calm. It's not. There's quite a rough sea now. I think the wind is against the tide. It's quite confused in some respects. So I'm going to give it one more drop and then I'm going to paddle back in. Safety first. I can always come out another time, so we just do one last drop and then I'm heading back in that way. I've really enjoyed being out on the kayak, as you can tell by the smile. I've had a cracking day, well, a couple of hours, and we got a codlin. Yes, we didn't blank. It would have been nice to have had more fish, would have been nice to have bigger fish, but hey, oh, we didn't blank. And that's the first fish aboard ISGAR this year. Fantastic. So let's put the oar in its dock here. I think that's what we call it, under the strap. We'll let this line down, and if I'm lucky enough to get a fish, I'll put it into the section of film just before and right now, which is going to be the outro, which is thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you so much for coming along on these little adventures. Really appreciate it, really appreciate all your comments. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's only a short one, we've only got the one fish, but there you go. Ooh, that bird was low. Tight lines from me, tail wag from D, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever we're doing on that one. Bye for now.